and I am alive talking about movies once again. I hope all of you will enjoy and be advised, be aware. I will be spoiling the entire thing with Caught Stealing, a movie that just came out last Friday. Um, I think maybe other people had seen it prior because that's happening a lot in the movie industry, but the movie truly came out last Friday, and that was a very nice trip. So, again, another warning for all of you, we will have spoiler down the road. So, before we really dive deep into it, I feel like to make things a bit different, we shall do something special I never did before, which means we will go through the plot beats by beats, following Wikipedia, what they basically said. Um, so let's do this. And then we will do the proper review and we will dive deep. Um, and that's the interesting part. That movie, I had a very good time watching it. It's an hour and like 14 minutes, but you just don't see time fly. It's just that fun. So let's do this. Here we are. And what's interesting about that specific movie, it takes place like 27-ish years ago, which is kind of unique. It gives the movie a flavor. So the plot. In 1998, Henry Hank Thompson is a bartender living on the Lower East Side. The actor is Austin Butler. I think I remember him from Bike Riders. I know he did at some point Elvis. I think I might be wrong there, but I know for sure I have seen the actor floating around. And yeah, it's the main character. Where his girlfriend Yvonne works as paramedic, and that's basically Zoe Kravitz, Blink Twice, the Batman. I really enjoyed that actress. After watching that movie, man, I feel like every movie I see her in it, I'm more impressed with her. He calls his mother in Patterson, California every day, especially to discuss their shared love of the San Francisco Giants. Now, the mother, I don't know the actress, and maybe it's because I started watching movies like 3 years ago. I'm joking. I started before, but I wasn't as much into movies as I am right now. But I didn't really know the actress that was playing the mother. A star baseball prospect in high school, Hank is haunted by a drunken car crash that deleted his friend Dale and left him with a career-ending injury. And that was tragic, and we explore that moment later in the movie, and it left an impact, a big impact, big time. So as of right now, we are still very, very early in the movie. We are like in the first 10 to 20 minutes. Um, that's where we are at. So let's get into Hank. British punk neighbor Ross returns to London to see his ailing father. Ailing? Leaving Hank to care for his cat, Bud. Searching for Ross, two Russian mobster Alitsky and Pavel viciously beat Hank, resulting Hank losing kidney. So I gotta say, the three actors that played the three characters, they are in the list, but I don't know which they are. I think the punk guy seems familiar to me, but the catch, I can't remember where I've seen the guy from. So I've recognized his face. The two mobster I didn't, but him surely I know I've seen him before. I just don't know where. Um, so he lost a kidney after the Russian break into Ross' apartment. Narcotic detective Roman questions Hank and reveal Russ is a substance dealer connected to notorious Asiatic brother Lithia and Shmuley Drucker, two Jewish guy. Now, that detective Roman, I think this is Regina King. I'm not one of, yeah, that's Regina King. Clearly, I've seen the picture now. Uh, cool actress. I wouldn't be surprised if I happened to see her in the past, but I think it's the more memorable role she's had that I've seen at least. So after that, finding a key hidden in Bud's litter box. That was very funny and unique and special, but yeah, and even there's a joke at the end. The punk is like, nobody really looked into a litter box. Why did you? Hank notify Roman when the drunkers search Ross' apartment. After spending a drunken night at Paul's bar, Hank leaves his clothes outside his building, interrogated by the Russian and their Puerto Rican associate Colorado. Hank cannot remember what happened to the key, but the mobsters are interrupted by his neighbor Dwayne. Hank leaves the injured Bud with Yvonne and remember taking the key to the bar. Chased by the drunkers, he informs Colorado, who mentions Yvonne. Realizing she is in danger, he races back to the apartment, only to find her. Again, another spoiler. It's like the third time. She has been shot in the head. Now, I will add some of my input here. That scene was so sad. We spent a few minutes with Yvonne at that point in the movie, and she was a very caring girlfriend. She was likable. She was enjoyable. I just think I'm falling in love with Zoe Kravitz. To be honest, she's kind of hot and she nails every role she's in. But I was so sad. I was like, man, she died, and that's the kind of death that's really well executed because it shattered the main character world, and it kind of made me feel things. I was sad. I didn't tear up, but I felt it. I was like, man, that's so sad. That moment there. That moment there. Anyway, this is my insight. Now, a guilt-stricken Hank confide in Roman, who dreams of retiring to Tulum. I don't know where the heck is that, but hey, that's the thing. Colorado and the Russians arrive in league with the corrupt Roman, but they claim not to be responsible for Yvonne's delete. Early departure, one can say. Hank is brought to polls where Colorado and bar regular Amtrak, but Roman deletes him before he can also end Paul. Lying that the key is in the basement strong room safe, Paul retrieves a shotgun but is shot dead. Hank locks himself in the strong room, forcing the others to leave empty-handed. Hank recovers the key from the homeless Jason, left the clothes he abandoned. Russ returns home, but is hit in the head with the baseball bat when Hank mistakes him for an intruder. That was a very funny moment. I was like, man, that was peak. That at that point, the main character really started to be like, you know what? I'm so done being surprised. I need to take control of my life. I enjoyed that aspect a lot. Um, so Russ explains that after selling substance to the druggers in Colorado nightclubs, he was forced to involve Roman, who owes money to the Russian boss. The key unlocks a storage unit with just over 4 million, and like 1998, it's a lot. 4 million is a lot. It's like 27 years ago. It was meant to split between the various parties on the day he left for London. Fearing for his life, Russ prepared to take the money and flee the country, leaving Hank as a fall guy, but Hank knocks him unconscious. Meeting Roman and the Russian flushing needle, Hank offers them Russ, and the key in exchange for Bud. That cat is just really cool. It's so sad that that cat was like beaten by these thugs. Russ panics, ending Alex's key with Pavel's gun before escaping with Hank and Bud, and suggests that Roman might have been who deleted Yvonne. They escape through the crowd at Shea Stadium onto the subway where a severely concussed Russ succumbs of his injuries, and Hank boards a bus with Bud to Coney Island. Hank is walking on the beach by a call from Roman, who has framed him for the various sprees of people being unalived. Roman threatens his mother, demanding he bring the key to the Russian supper club. Calling to warn his mother, Hank surrendered himself to the Druckers, the Jewish, the dangerous one. They agreed to end Roman in exchange for Hank leading them to the money, first bringing him to their mother's Shavuos dinner. That scene, that was hilarious. And at first glance, some people may criticize that dinner scene as filler. But here's my reading on it. That was to elaborate these bad guys, and that was to plan for a big payoff joke they have later on. So I really enjoyed that moment, and that was funny. They just eat that thing, and it's like the first time the main character eats that thing, and you can tell Austin Butler is like, I'm not really hungry, I don't really want to eat, and I'm not in the mood of eating because maybe that's my last meal. And that scene was just golden. I I think it's one of the highlights of that movie. Hank is zip tied to the car steering wheel while the heavily armed brother storm the club. And we got a massive shootout there. Oh, people run while people get shot at. It was crazy. I liked it, and you don't expect Jewish people to be like that. You just don't expect it. Only a movie like that one would be like that. Spotting Roman, Hank burn is restrained with the car lighter and gives chase with a bat. He subdue Pavel and manage to injure Roman, at which point the Druckers arrive and shoot her dead. Hank reveals he hid the key in the bandage of Bud's leg, and the sympathetic brothers decide to let him live with a share of the money. They force him to drive for the first time since his crash when Hank notices that Lipia has Yvonne's lighter. And again, that entire scene with the dinner, I think it was really to build up that relationship, because if we didn't get the dinner scene, I don't think they would have that sympathy they had toward their victim, basically. Realizing the implication, the brother admits ending Yvonne's to send a message to Hank for evading them. Noticing that he is the only one wearing a seatbelt, and crashes the car into a pillar. And that's another big payoff, because at some point, they're like, buckle up, because after the car crash, he values a lot buckling up. And here, it's a big payoff. He was the only one with the seatbelt. Hank crashed the car into a pillar, ending both brothers. Sometime later, Hank pauses as Ross to escape the country with Bud and half of the money. Calling his mother to let her know he is safe, Hank arrives at Tulum to begin a new life, as he always dreamed of doing, having mailed his mother the rest of the money. That was a peak ending. I enjoyed it so much. That was fun. I liked it. More movies like that. I didn't expect that movie to end in such a high note and having that happy ending there. But they did it and they nailed it. I like that. Now let's dive deep into the full review. I enjoyed that movie. I think I said it in the intro, but I will repeat myself. This movie is in my top 10 of this year as of right now. It's in 10th place, so maybe it will get pushed back by something else I see down the line. And as of right now, I've seen 108 movies, so that one is in 10th place. Solid one. Highly recommend. And again, I will spoil the entire thing. So let's get into Caught Stealing, my opinion of it. I had no issues whatsoever, so let's get into my notes. The cast and characters were amazing. It's funny how Vincent D'Onofrio, I can't remember the how to pronounce his name. Wilson Fisk from Daredevil. He is in that movie. And you know what? It's hilarious because he's such a good actor. I didn't realize it was in it. I recognize the name, but the guy just morphed into a new role, and I just didn't realize which character he was. That's good acting, good makeup, good everything. Good job, folks. Good job. Let's praise it. Now, the music and humor were great. Most of the jokes they have a proper payoff, and the banter between the main character and his girlfriend really feel like a guy with his girlfriend, a teenager and an adult buddy dealing with a girlfriend that's really serious about the relationship, and she's kind of taking some kind of mother role at some point because she cares about him, and it brought really good humor. So I think the humor is really one of my favorite thing about that movie. The action was entertaining. The firefights, the people running around, and that movie is just nuts. The reveals were solid and great. The love interest death was amazing and emotional. I felt things. I didn't tear up, but I felt things. It drove home what they wanted to deliver with these moments. Each villain was great, and the movie was good at showing overtelling. Each double cross was great. The violence was brutal and effective. Set design and characters' costume were cool. Now let's get into three things. Theme of trauma following one was well shown through the main character having nightmares about his past. The main character running away and refusing to grow up was nice foundation for his character. The main character making a plan to face and solve his issues was great growth. And another thing that was kind of nice to see, again, I mentioned it, but when he takes that baseball bat and he's like, you know what, I will end all this crap, and then it's the punk guy, that was peak growth there because it was more passive up to that point. He was just being thrown around by everyone, but now he took action and he decided, you know what, let's get back control of my life. The main character throwing away alcohol showed the main character desire to grow up and improve because after that kidney accident, well, alcohol was a big no-no. And him just drinking was him falling back before solidifying into I want to change. So overall, Caught Stealing, I liked it. And again, I've seen it in theater, that's why I don't have a lot more to say, but I'm sure on the rewatch one day eventually I will have more things to say. But that movie is just peak entertainment. From start to finish, you have no time to really breathe, and that's a good thing. It's not because the pacing is rushed, it's because there's a lot going on, and the movie got me invested. Like people with ADHD, they will lash onto it because there's always something for them. With that being said, there's a final segment to this stream, which is the Rotten Tomato one, because I feel like that's a cool one. You get the vibe of a lot of other people that have seen that movie. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Just before we do that, actually, we take a look again to the Wikipedia. So as of right now, that movie has a budget of 14 million and the box office is 14.9. So unfortunately, except if they get a huge bump and a lot of people decide to go see it, that movie will bomb. and it's unfortunate because that's a fun movie. Now to only pay itself back, they need 80 million. So they need like 65 million dollar just to break even. Just to break even. It doesn't look good, and it's unfortunate because the person behind that movie really wanted to make a good movie. And that's a sign that if you crowd too much your summer with a bunch of movies, it will not always work the way you want. So let's take a look to Rotten Tomato, the new segment. There we go. So critiques and verified ratings are even. And it's a 85, so I'm above it. That's my usual self. Okay, the first critique is a rotten one, very interesting. Referencing Scorsese's The Forever King of the New York crime movie is a risk caught stealing probably shouldn't have taken. I spent much of the time reminiscing on just how thoughtful and composed the best example this genre can be. I guess that's the top critic opinion there. Rotten. The entire film is such a refreshing change of pace and tone from Aronofsky typical dour material that it feels like a director is intentionally turning a page. So that one is fresh. Now we get another rotten and another fresh. So let's read them and then we will move on to the audience. It's a throwback film, the kind they don't make anywhere. And giving the sheer amount screenwriting 101 cliche that pile up, you can't help thinking that might be a good thing. So I don't know why it's rotten because she seems mostly positive outside of maybe the cliche statement. I don't know. I don't know. While far from essential, caught stealing tries as the really looking a violent throwback, dreamy, stylish, and pushing with enough scuzzy flair to feel right at home on a video store shelf. I agree, 100%. Catherine, not a favorite. It was okay, but nothing I would recommend to a friend. 2.5 out of 5 stars. Shannon, it was great watch. Enjoy it from beginning to end. I know my mom would have loved it as well, especially since it starred Vincent D'Onofrio. That was a 5 star, and we get another 5 star here. With as few words as possible, all I have to say is this movie is truly directed well. Actors and actresses did an amazing job playing their characters. Everyone from staff to even the extras, I assume. 5 out of 5. Manuel, I enjoyed this movie a lot. 4 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5. Now, I just realized I forgot to mention my own grading. My own grading, maybe you have guessed it, but I give Caught Stealing a 10 out of 10. It's my 10th favorite movie of 2025. That's a solid one. With that being said, let's move on to the outro now. The outro. So, this season of Mainstream Movie Reviews, we will have a lot of other movies. Hopefully, we will have guests at some point, but I'll improvise a lot of streams like this one where I just decided today I would do that stream. But we won't do only streams, we will do upload as well with a lot of movies because there's a few movies I want to compile in one big video. So that's the plan there. So in case you missed it, we had a Ghost Rider stream Saturday. It's still up. We also have Wednesday, 2 days from now, the Red Blue Podcast. It's coming back. I don't know if Matt will be able to show up on the first week, but we most likely will have Super Bowl. And maybe Gray, finger crossed, hopefully will come back at some point before November, because November we will go on break again. With that being said, thank you for supporting the channel if you do. And if you didn't subscribe yet, just do it. Like, September will be a big month. Next week, we do film and shows adaptation Dexter Week 1 with Original Sin and Resurrection, because Resurrection is ending this week. Seeing the entire thing. I'm only waiting for the final episode, and I will be like eager to see it, because I think it started the rough, but it ended up well as of right now. So that's the future, and we are out.